Sunday night yet again. Looks like I'm going home before dark. It's amazing. Jeff's bromeliads. Plants planted everywhere. They're the hanging pots for the vertical garden. wallgarden.com.au. So they just hang on wire, timber, whatever you want to hang them on. Well, we've had a pretty big step forward this weekend. We've got timber floor in the front room and it's all painted. This room's pretty much done for now. We're going to start packing boxes and as much stuff as we can in that room to get it out of the house we're living in at the moment. Pretty happy with the way that looks now. So yeah, big step forward with that room. I've got leftover flooring. I was hoping to have enough to do this room and so that would just flow out through here, but I'm doubtful I'm going to have enough because I use so much in there. I wanted to use all the good boards. There's a lot of boards here that are quite damaged, just scratched, and I might be able to sand them all down once they're laid. I'm thinking about putting a coat of clear over those, so I'll give them a good rub and then put a coat of clear over them, so I'll see how that turns out. Not quite sure what else has happened around here lately. I've got cornices in. Everything's ready to rub and start painting. Light fittings ready to be wired in. I've got to get out there and start getting the garden sheds ready. I've got one there and there's another one that'll go down the back there. So that's a priority this weekend, I think. Still got some gyprock to go up in the ceiling in the bathroom, but the boxes are, well, the pile of boxes are getting much smaller, which is good. Started rubbing down the floor here because I've got to repair all that. Seems to come up all right, but it'll need a really good sand. So whether I've got time to give it a good sand between now and when we move in, who knows? Not a lot's happened in here. I'm putting a door frame in here so that we can lock the bedrooms off from the main living area. So if you want to go to bed early, you can just shut the door and whoever's sitting in the lounge room or the kitchen can go to their heart's content. Cleaned up out the back here. Getting ready to put the barbecue up onto the back deck. Got to move all this old timber, which I'm probably going to use for the carport, to build that in at the moment until summertime comes and then we can get a new garage. Some of the vertical garden starting to take shape. Once we get this all done properly and the wires all mounted properly and in the right spots, and it'll all be changed, but there are a whole heap of plants that are all getting ready to go up onto the vertical garden. Hopefully they'll all be grown by the time we get to that point. They should look quite nice looking out of the window. And these are the hanging pots. Starting to get some plants in them so that they get established and start to grow, start to thicken up. Once we get the timber deck, will start at this height, the bottom of the window, and run all the way through. So the deck will probably be at this height. So all these gardens will be from there up, right the way through the whole wall, all the way through there, and then possibly all the way through. Depends on how much you can see out of the windows, I suppose. That's the idea anyway. So the timber deck will come level with the doorstep. The timber deck will come right out and up to this sort of height all the way through. It'll come right up into here, across and through there, across there, and then right the way down under there. That's the idea. I've got to get there first. I've got to get the inside done. So that's the grey, same grey in the other room. And I'll build the top of that in, ready for the door to go in at 2.1 metres, I think it is, high, which is slightly higher than a standard door frame. And then I'll put a glass, similar to this one, a glass door in there so that still lets light and everything through but blocks the sound out. So these walls are pretty much rubbed and ready to put a coat of paint over them. Once I get all the door frame and everything in, all the ceilings have all been spack filled and rubbed. I had to spack fill the whole wall because the paint on it was just so rough, as you can see from there, how the spack fillers filled all the rough indentations from paintwork. It's just everywhere you look at, it's just rough. But it should come up pretty good now. All the walls have been straightened, cornices have been straightened, because everything was out of square, I suppose you could say. The laundry with the new tiles on it, all being that they're filthy dirty at the moment from the dust and rubbing down. I've got to get in here and start rubbing all these walls and the ceilings down. But they're all ready to rub, spackfill, get ready to paint. I've started rubbing all these doors down, but I've decided that I'm going to buy new doors. These ones are bowed and they're just a bit too rough. Not much happened in the bedrooms. More rough paintwork that needs sanding and filling. Toilet's looking a little bit ordinary at the moment because it's so dirty, but we're getting there. I've spack filled everything in there and we've got all cornices and it's all ready to rub now and start painting. So the hallway's ready to paint, the laundry's almost ready to paint, toilet's ready to paint. Started fitting the vanity unit up in there, and the light switch needs to go on the side of it because there's no room in the wall. And the dust again, pretty dusty and horrible. The new windows, pretty happy with them other than the fact that they're filthy dirty at the moment. So that's the vanity, and then on the inside you've got your power point. Open that up and you can plug your hairdryer in, or you can have your electric toothbrush plugged in, and then you'll have a power point down in the bottom vanity as well. Once we move in, I'll get in here and start putting the screed down and start tiling. But I'm not too worried about this room right at the moment. Just need to get a ceiling up. And not much happened in this room. But the ensuite has a vanity and taps are all in. So they'll need to have tiles behind them. Power point, light switch just there. And same with this one, you'll have a power point in your cupboard. And there are our light, exhaust fan and heater. Hopefully that works all right. Then I'll have a downlight over in that corner and a downlight above the vanity as well. I've got the feature tiles going in. Hopefully the grout should sort out the gaps between it, because it looks quite good when it's looking at it on the side. We'll soon find out. And then we've got to individually place the rocks across the bottom of the shelf and then up the sides and across the top. And we've got to fill in these little gaps around the edge. Toilet's got to be siliconed in. All the tiles are pretty much done now. We've got a handheld shower head, I suppose you call it, that sits to the right of the shower unit. So there you go, bit more of an update. There you go.